G'day everybody, Sean from Bourbon Brothers here. We're looking at the second selection in our September bourbons, the 1792 Small Batch. So the 1792 Small Batch, it's a straight bourbon from the Sazerac Company, distilled at Barton 1792 Distillery. It comes in at 93.7 proof. It doesn't carry an age statement. Its mash bill is undisclosed, but it's marketed as a high rye and believed to be somewhere in that 15 to 25% rye. 1792 Small Batch is Barton's flagship bourbon, having undergone naming changes over the years from 1792 Ridgewood Reserve to 1792 Ridgemont Reserve and finally to the 1792 Small Batch. While still branded 1792 Ridgemont Reserve, the 8-year age statement found on the back of the bottle was removed late in 2013. Not long after, the bottle design was updated in conjunction with the change to 1792 Small Batch. When this change took place, a substantial line extension took place at 1792. It included the 1792 Sweet Wheat, which we've already looked at in the previous month, 1792 Port Finish, 1792 Single Barrel, 1792 Full Proof, which we're looking at next, and 1792 High Rye. Back in my days living in the USA, the 1792 Ridgemont Reserve was one of my go-to bourbons, and that was when it was packaged differently and had the 8-year-old age statement that no one really took any notice of. The age statement was on the back of the bottle, and based on consumers' attention to bourbon at the time, it really didn't matter. 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, even 18 years. They were just numbers on bottles, and they were plentiful. 1792 was bourbon that I grew with. It was a bourbon that I had with ice cubes, then one ice cube, then a few drops of water, then neat. It was there for my transition from a casual bourbon drinker to something more. The time has changed, and I can't quite look at it through the same lens I once did. And even if I could, it's no longer the same. Compared side by side to its 8-year-old predecessor, the differences are clear. The 8-year-old has a bit more depth, a bit more character, and a bit more flavour. But that doesn't change what the bottle is today. 1792 is still what it's expected to be, and basically what Barton's marketing says it is. A bourbon that's brash, it's bold, it's smooth, and it's balanced. Well, almost, because it's not necessarily smooth in the sense of the term. So while it lacks a little bit of the depth that it once had, it still manages to distinguish itself from other bourbons in the price range by offering enough character to make it interesting. So that's the 1792 Small Batch. I think it's time we gave it a shot. It's real honey colour with the 1792 Small Batch. Medium legs on it. So on that nose, you get rye spice up front, vanilla and caramel, those typical bourbon flavours coming through, and then a trace of ethanol coming through on the back. A little bit of oak lingers underneath. The potency of the ethanol suggests a higher proof bourbon than it is, and the overall aroma, it's a little bit unrefined. It doesn't quite invite me in for a sip, but it doesn't deter me either. There's little subtlety here. Rye spice along with sweet vanilla and caramel solidify their presence, leaving no other flavours hiding underneath. The mouthfeel is satisfying as the bourbon is slightly more chewy than average. Like the nose, the potency of the palate also suggests a higher proof than what it is. More notably, it comes across a bit rough around the edges with a sort of sweet versus spice effect that has a sense of contrasting the bold flavours, and it seems to be more in competition with one another than complementing each other. This gives it a dose of character that some may love, others may not. On that finish, you'll get rye spice, vanilla and caramel. They present themselves just like in the palate with a medium length finish. Spice leads the charge while the sweeter flavours take over as the flavours decay. Dark fruit makes a little bit of an appearance, but it's alongside the general sweet note. 1792 Small Batch is a straightforward bourbon with a heavy dose of character, making it a solid pour in the price range despite a fairly simple flavour profile. 1792's character is both a gift and a curse. Some will like it enough to make it a staple in their bar, while others may downright hate it. What do you think? I hope you're enjoying it, and I hope you're enjoying your journey. Cheers. G'day everybody, Sean from Bourbon Brothers here, looking at our second selection in our September September. That's not bad, actually. September. There's anyway. Can you just stop your giggling? You got one job over there. Don't giggle.
You make my job so much easier.
You make mine harder. Yeah.